So from the provider perspective, why is that important? They're the services you're actually purchasing. It has to work for them long term, or they'll just turn it off. Remember that termination clause? Here's 4 things. We're working with a group. It was 7 hospitals and about 800 providers that wanted to move their services out via a direct contract into the self-funded community. And they'd been trying for a couple of years with some success. They had about 6 TPAs that were now representing a few clients that were accessing their direct contract. And these 6 TPAs, so every time a member would come into, right, the provider, they show their ID card. And these 6 TPAs now had all 6 different logos, 6 different payer IDs that the registration office was supposed to ingest and then attach to the appropriate things so it cascades through the whole revenue cycle appropriately. And in addition to that, each TPA also represented PPO clients. Some also represented no network clients, RVP clients. And they basically said, it's impossible to identify. Okay, if it's impossible for the provider community to identify, do you think they want these to grow? No. So we have to start recognizing that the dumping ground, like when I came into this, I was like, oh my gosh, bless all of you TPAs. Because when we don't know who to give it to, who do we give it to? The TPA. And now they're supposed to be like cutting edge experts at everything. And we've done the same thing in the direct contracting space. You're like, oh, now you're also supposed to manage an unnetworked network direct contract, and you're supposed to manage everything. It's not going to work that way. You need to look at things at a direct contract administration level, not just at a plan administration level, so it works for the provider community. The second, the CEO of this group that we were working with pulls me aside, he shuts the door, he pulls out 2 claims, and he said, Garrett, these are the exact same claims. The only thing different is date of service and the employer that the members are associated with. Riddle me this, why was the allowed amount different? They're the exact same, coming off the same rate sheet. They're just administered by 2 different TPAs. Why are they different? And I'm like, oh, that's the right question. Do you realize when the provider gives out a direct contract, they don't really know where it's going in the current space? Who's actually administering it? Who's actually repricing it? There's lack of integrity in that domain. And in fact, many that have these contracts, they're not even structured to adequately take the responsibility. It's just been given to them. I said, yeah, that's a problem. We need to rectify it. We need to centralize how these things are being repriced so there's integrity in it. And then third, updating. We think these direct contracts are dead. They're not. They're living. Okay, there's actually providers on the back end. Have you heard of M&A activity? Whether we like it or not, what you sign up on the direct contract and the doctors or the TINs that are represented at 3 months away, 4 months away, 5 months away are different. And if you are not getting those updates, you're not administering the direct contract correctly. And so if it's not easy for the provider to get those updates to you, this provider's like, I've got 6 different TPA sets, 6 different brokers, 6 different, maybe it's with a stop loss carrier. I've got to get that out. I don't know if they receive it. I don't know how long it takes them to update the cycle. Our claim's going to come through that should have been on the direct contract. And they're like, yeah, grow this, right? And then the fourth is they don't know who's administering it. If a broker gets a direct contract and it's in their name, brokers do not have the operational infrastructure to actually administer that. Many TPAs don't, stop-loss carriers don't, RVP vendors don't. That's not what they are. And so they don't even know whose neck to wring if there's a question. They don't know where to go to make the buck stop. Where does it stop? So we have to know who's administering it. It's got to work for the provider community if this is going to be replicable, if we're going to scale it.